Hi, welcome everybody. In today's session, we will discuss an important concept of Microsoft Excel that is relevant to the absolute and relative addressing in Excel, or we can also say in spreadsheet. So let's start our Excel program with the help of Start menu. Click on Excel. Excel is launching. Microsoft Excel is launched successfully. We click on empty template. We have already discussed how we can also obtain or use other templates available in the Microsoft Excel, and in the previous session we have detailed discussion about the active and passive cells. Now we will not talk about the active and passive cell or what are the tools. You can see or view the other sessions of Microsoft Excel available in the Excel tutorials playlist. Okay, what is the relative and absolute addressing? We are talking about relative and absolute addressing. What are these things and how these things are used in Microsoft Excel? Each and every cell in Microsoft Excel has a unique address. In previous session we have also discussed about this one. So that if we say that this active cell contains the address of D5. Why? Because it has the address of column D and row address is 5, so that this is called as D5. We can see here the cell reference or cell address in the cell reference section. Okay, what is the relative or absolute addressing? The by default that address we have placed here, we are assuming here the values for the calculation. So let's suppose we have 10 in A1 and 20 in B1. I would like to take the total of these values in D1, so that for this purpose I will write here the formula A1 plus B1. What is this formula? In previous session we have also detailed discussion about the formulas and function. We can also take the summation with the help of sum function. When we will press the enter, the sum of A1 and B1 will be calculated into the D1. Okay, let's talk about the formula, how these addresses are used here and how these calculation is performed. This is called relative address. An address of cell that just combination of column, letter and row number is called relative address. What is the relevance or what is the concept of relativity in spreadsheet of the addresses? It means that if we copy this cell, just observe that we copy by using Ctrl+C this cell that contains the formula which is the D1. We are now creating a new sheet, that is sheet 2. We are here in the D1 of sheet 2. We just press C, Ctrl+C to paste the formula. We observe here in the sheet 2 there is a sum of 0. Why? Because we have copied the relative formula with relative references from sheet 1, so that in sheet 2 it is taking this parameter as relevant to the sheet 2. For that there will be the A1 of sheet 2 and B1 of sheet 2 in sheet 2. If we want to change, just I would like to show you, if we drag this formula cell to the downward, then there is a 0 0, not the 30 in the upcoming cells. Why? Because in D1 there is a relative formula with relative operands. Again I would like to clear you, the operands are relative or absolute, not the operator. There is a relative operator, so that in the D2 there will be the operators as A2 B2, and in D3 there will be the operators as A3 B3. We can observe here these are the changing relative to the context where the formula is copied. Okay, I am just getting the undo operation for this entire sequence. Now I would like to share you how we can create absolute address formula. For that purpose, Microsoft Excel provides the facility of use dollar operator with the addresses of your formula. We have just to place the dollar operator with cell reference as well as with the column reference. Not only to the start of the operator, we have to place the dollar sign with cell reference as well as the row reference. We can observe here $A $1 plus $B $1. This is now become the absolute address, not the relative address. We are again dragging this formula, but this formula now that time is not changing. We can see here this is A1 B1 A2 B2. We have to change here the value. The entire values are getting changed. Not these formula operands are relative to the A3 plus B3, as we have earlier discussed A8 plus B8. These are now become the absolute address. But one thing more we will have to discuss, this is relevant to the current spreadsheet. This formula is absolute address formula, but the spreadsheet reference is the same. Now I would like to show you copy this formula with absolute addresses and paste in D1 of spreadsheet 2. I have just pasted this one, but again this time this is getting the 0. Why? Now these are the absolute addresses, but why this is getting the 0? Because these absolute addresses are now relevant to the sheet 2, not for sheet 1. Okay, to make it relevant to sheet 1, we have to specify the sheet reference in addressing. We have to just place here the sheet 1 with sign of explanation. We can see here it is getting blue. Now this first A1 is absolute address reference to that sheet as well as for other sheets. In the similar way, we would like to add the sheet reference to the second operand, that is your B1. Now I just press the enter button and paste this formula to the preceding cells. Okay, now just copy this formula and go to the sheet 2 and paste it here. We can observe here now this formula is such like of this, containing the sheet reference of sheet 1. Now when I will press the enter, this is getting the value from sheet 1 A1 B1. Now we would like to take it as a practical. I am just changing the value. This is getting 70, and in sheet 2 it is also getting the 70. Now I am just copying this formula and paste it any cell of the sheet 3, pasting here. Now here is also a 70. Why? This is the fundamental concepts of relative and absolute addressing used in Microsoft Excel. Later on we will also use these relative and absolute addresses when we are going to design the macros as a developer. We will use my Visual Basic 6 Visual Basic script for the designing or recording the macros. Here we will also discuss again what are the relative and absolute addressing. We have to clear that a relative address will change its value corresponding to the cell referencings in the current sheet and with respect to the references of the sheet in another sheet, but the absolute address will never change its value relevant to the cell references, so that there is a major change in cell references with respect to relative and absolute addresses. And one thing is to notice that addresses of operands are relative or absolute, not the operand. Operand will be same for the entire sheet. At the end of this session, I would be thankful to all of you for attending the complete session. I would appreciate you for any kind of questioning. Please place this in the comment section and subscribe our channel for the latest update and go through the traversal of the Microsoft Excel sessions. Thanks.